Was it, I think you told me this, and I also read it someplace. Wasn't it Warren Buffett that said he would love to be, if he could want to buy a block of 2,000 homes? Or maybe it was 200,000 homes. I can't remember. And he said it would be a great investment.
He said it's probably the greatest investment in America today. He said that a few months ago, and he said if it was practical to do so, that was the phrase he used, he would probably go out and buy 200,000 of them.
200,000 of them.
Right.
Talk about finding a need.
Well, let's talk about the metrics for just a moment.
Yes.
The average house in America, and I can't tell you, I'm not telling you to the dollar, but you know this is average. The average house in America was selling for $160-some thousand, you know, before the crash a few years ago. That house now might sell retail, if you can sell it, for, you know, $90,000 or $110,000. That's a house that a buyer at his level, who can buy for enormous discounts, could probably buy and rehab. In other words, he would be buying it and working with various local entrepreneurs to rehabilitate it, fix it up, tune it up. Probably he wouldn't have more than $50,000 or $60,000 in that house, roughly a third of what it was worth, you know, only 6 or 7 years ago. And that number, that house will reach that value again in 6 or 7 or 8 years as the market recovers to a normal market level. So, you know, to me it makes an awful lot of sense. I don't know too many, I don't think that you could find a stock that you could buy today that's immediately worth 30, 40, 50% more than you paid for it the day you bought it, that the government allows you to say is worth less every day. That's what we call depreciation.
Yes.
And that physically is appreciating virtually every day for the next 10, 15, 20 years. And, by the way, that can be rented out and generate income every single month.
And the rental business is pretty strong today, isn't it? Because
very strong.
Yes, people can't. It's harder to buy houses, and it's harder to, you know, very hard to buy houses for a lot of people. So the rental market is huge.
That's right. The rental market is huge. Occupancy in multifamily around the country is hovering around 92, 93%. The larger multifamily properties, you know, your 100 to 1,000 suite properties, and we find that single-family houses are still the residence of choice for most residents here in Northeast Ohio and around the Midwest. It's different in the big cities like Chicago, New York, LA. People want to live in fancy apartment complexes with amenities. But in our community here, most people want to live in a house, and so if they can't afford to buy one, or they've recently lost one, or they are afraid, there are an awful lot of perfectly capable home buyers who just aren't ready to jump in yet again, and they want to rent.
Well, what do you say? What do you say to people that are listening that are just looking for rental income? What do you say to them? Really look closely at buying a house at a good low cost, and if they could fix it up themselves, it would be worth it.
Well, I think it absolutely would be worth it, and of course, you're giving me a chance to, you know, to kind of toot my own horn a little bit, because we have a company in our group of companies called TurnKeyInvestorProperties.com, and we work with investors who want to have a hands-off approach, earn 11, 12, 15% returns on their money, and not have to fix the house, deal with tenants and toilets, deal with phone calls, deal with cities, municipalities, building departments, you know, deal with selection of the proper property.
So you already have the process down.
Oh, we have a total turnkey solution for investors who want to just write a check and earn a double-digit return on their money. But if you don't want to, that's fine. I think it's a great thing to do. Almost everybody lives in a house, so people know what a house is. If you've got money sitting, or you and a few neighbors, or you and a few cousins, or relatives, or friends, maybe you don't have 50 or 60, which is what it takes to do a decent middle-class house today. Maybe you have 10. Get a few buddies together, 3, 4 of you go out and do a house together. You know, you'll end up killing each other, fighting over